The story begins with Simon, a young man who always dreamed of having a family. Since he was a teenager, he imagined finding someone special to share his life with. When he was just 20, he thought he had found her, Anna. She was everything he had hoped for. He did everything he could to win her heart, pouring his love into the relationship. He believed that if he showed her enough love, she would feel the same way. But Anna wasn't ready. She told him to stop, saying she had heard enough of his love declarations. Simon was heartbroken, but respected her decision. A little while later, things changed. Anna suddenly said she was ready to be with him. Simon couldn't believe it. From that moment, everything fell into place, and they grew closer. By the time Simon turned 23, Anna had her own bakery, and Simon worked as a fitness instructor. They were inseparable. After 3 years together, Simon asked Anna to marry him. Tears filled her eyes, and they both knew they were ready for the next chapter in their lives. But even with all their happiness, something still felt missing. They were content, but deep down, both wanted more. After thinking it through, they decided to adopt 3 dogs from local shelters. They had always loved animals and couldn't stand the thought of leaving 2 dogs behind, knowing they would be lonely without each other. So, they brought home Jasper, Jake, and Luna. Each dog had its own personality, but together they made the perfect family. Raising 3 dogs wasn't easy. Simon and Anna took turns walking them every day. It was tiring, but they never regretted it. They loved watching the dogs explore and run freely around their property. What they didn't know was that these simple walks would soon lead to a discovery that would change everything. Simon noticed something strange during their walks. Every time they passed a certain spot on their property, the dogs acted different. They scratched at the same spot in the yard, sniffing the ground like they were searching for something. They were so focused, it seemed like they knew something Simon didn't. At first, Simon thought it was just a mouse or some small animal hiding there. He tried calling the dogs away, but no matter how hard he distracted them, they always went back to the same spot. One night, Simon and Anna let the dogs run around outside as usual. The dogs had their kennels with warm blankets, so Simon wasn't worried. But the next morning, he was shocked. All 3 dogs were covered in mud from head to toe. What had they been doing? Then Simon noticed something odd. Jasper, the biggest dog, dropped something at his feet. It was a round object covered in mud. Curious, Simon bent down to look at it. He couldn't believe his eyes. It was a coin, but it was so dirty, he couldn't make out what it was. He carefully cleaned it, and after a few minutes, the mud came off. What was left was a shiny gold coin. How did the dogs find this? At first, Simon didn't think much of the coin. He put it in a drawer, planning to look at it later. But life got busy, and he forgot all about it. Little did he know, the coin was just the beginning of something much bigger. The next morning, Simon was shocked to find another muddy coin near the door. This time, he knew something strange was happening. The coins couldn't just be a coincidence. He decided to take the dogs for a walk, hoping to figure out where they were finding the coins. Maybe it was just a neighbor's lost treasure, but what he discovered was far more surprising. Simon followed the dogs to the same spot they had been obsessed with. He crouched down and started to dig. At first, he only felt dirt, but then his fingers touched something hard and metal. His heart raced as he kept digging, and soon he uncovered an old, rusty can buried deep in the ground. It was heavy, and the lid was sealed tight with rust. What was inside? Simon couldn't wait to find out. The mystery was only just beginning. Simon tried opening the can by hand, but it wouldn't budge. He grabbed a pair of pliers and a crowbar, determined to get it open. After some hard work, the lid finally gave way with a loud crack. Dust and dirt flew out, and Simon carefully peered inside. He couldn't see much, just dirt and gravel, but he wasn't ready to give up. As he dug deeper, something shiny caught his eye. He reached in and pulled out a coin. It was old, and as he wiped off the dirt, he saw the year, 1886. His heart raced. Could it be real? Was it valuable? He kept digging, pulling out coin after coin. Some were from the 1800s, others from the late 19th century. There were more than 100 coins, each one older and more valuable than the last. Simon couldn't believe his luck. Where did these coins come from? Why were they buried in the ground on his property? The mystery was growing bigger, and Simon couldn't wait to find out more. Simon's hands trembled as he laid the coins out on the table. They were unlike anything he had ever seen. Some were gold, with intricate designs, while others had strange markings he couldn't make sense of. His heart raced as he called Anna to share the news. She was just as stunned as he was. They both stared at the coins, wondering where they had come from and what it all meant. Without wasting a moment, Simon called an expert to help identify the coins. After a quick look, the expert confirmed they were from the 1800s during the California gold rush. The coins were rare, and some were worth a small fortune. But then, the expert dropped a bombshell. These coins could be connected to a robbery at the San Francisco Mint in the early 1900s. Simon's excitement started to fade. The expert explained that, although unlikely, the coins might have been stolen and buried to hide them. The mystery deepened. Were these coins part of a crime? Simon had no way of knowing for sure, but one thing was clear. The coins were valuable. Could Simon's discovery be linked to something much bigger than he ever imagined? As experts examined the coins, they were shocked by their value, an incredible $10 million. The rarest coins, like the $5 Delona Half Eagle, were worth over $1 million each. Simon and Anna couldn't believe it. Their lives had just changed in ways they never imagined. But instead of letting the money take over, they decided to do the right thing. They paid off their debts and chose to donate most of the money to local charities. They realized that finding the treasure wasn't just about getting rich. It was about giving back and making a difference in the world. The coins might have been worth millions, but the real treasure was the lesson Simon and Anna learned. Sometimes the most unexpected discoveries change everything. It's not always about what we gain, but what we do with it that can truly change our lives. So, that's all for today. Now it's your turn to share your thoughts about this story. What's the next story you'd like to know? Let us know in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of these amazing videos on Wild Wonder.